What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, my name is Lex and thank you for clicking on today's video. Today, y'all, we are going to jump into my Bath & Body Works collection and rate all of the Everyday Luxuries mist that I own. So I currently own 17 of the Everyday Luxuries, including some from the original release and some from the most new release. So if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts and rating and ranking my entire Everyday Luxuries collection, then let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'll talk about them individually and go through the notes with you guys, just for anyone who may be new to this collection and you guys might want to know what they smell like. But all of these are inspired by other perfumes that are designer or niche that may be super expensive. Overall, I feel like this collection is just great for anyone who wants to have, of course, something to layer their perfumes with, which we love to do over here on this channel. But also, if you don't want to spend the money on some of these perfumes, some of these fragrance mists are going to give you the same effect for literally a steal. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. Some of these are just at the bottom because aren't my typical scent preference, or they're not things that I'm going to reach for regularly or things that I would classify as my faves. At the very bottom, I actually have two that I'm going to talk about, and those are going to be Imperfect Beauty as well as Aqua Hour. In regards to Aqua Hour, this one is inspired by Giorgio Armani's Aqua di Gioia, which is a fresh, oceanic, slightly salty type of scent. And that's definitely what I get in this. Honestly, I would say I do like Aqua Hour just a hair more than Imperfect Beauty, but overall, this is for someone who likes your freshy, kind of aquatic, just those ocean-like scents. I wouldn't even say this is more along the beachy side, but this is definitely giving me a very marine-like feel. So if you like those scents that really smell like fresh ocean water or fresh water, that is what this gives me, with a slightly woody base. And I really do like this one, but I just don't typically reach for fresh scents like this. So that is why it is at the bottom. This is, however, something that I can see myself putting in my gym bag as something super inoffensive to keep me feeling fresh and clean when I go into the gym, as well as when I leave until I get home and take a shower. The notes in Aqua Hour are watery bergamot, fresh peony, and salty cedarwood. The peony gives it just a touch of this kind of sweet, girly factor to it and makes this lean more feminine and not super masculine like some fresh scents can. Overall, I do really like this one. It's just not my typical scent preference that I go for, so that is why she's at the bottom. That brings us to Imperfect Beauty. Now, this one is inspired by Marc Jacobs Perfect, which honestly, you guys, I've never really been a fan of that perfume in general. I'm not really a rhubarb lover. I've noticed whenever rhubarb is a prominent notes in fragrances, I don't typically go for it. It's very sharp and green smelling to me. I think that's why I've just never been able to get along with Marc Jacobs Perfect. The rhubarb note that is in here, just a little bit less green and a little bit more sweet and juicy, and that's what I like about this. So this one has notes of sweet rhubarb, white florals, and radiant cashmere. I also feel like maybe the cashmere is doing something in this one, but yeah, overall, I feel like this is just a sweet, fruity freshie. I see myself reaching for this one again when I'm going to the gym, or if I'm just going out on a hot summer day and I want to spritz myself down with something super refreshing and sweet, not too gourmand, not too edible, not too floral smelling. I feel like this is just a nice, evenly balanced scent if you love your fresh scent. Now, next up on the list, you guys, this one is Madame Mystique. And this one has been compared to a couple of fragrances, but in my opinion, this definitely smells very similar to YSL's Mon Paris, which is another perfume that I have not really been a fan of in the past. So this one has the notes of bright red berries, rose petals, and sultry woods. Now, honestly, you guys, I was going to get rid of this one, but I decided to keep it because this is just a really nice fruity floral. This smells elevated. This smells sophisticated. This does give me similar vibes to Chanel's Coco Mademoiselle, which is another scent that this has been compared to. But overall, this just smells like a grown woman. It smells elevated. It has just this kind of polished, almost like a corporate businesswoman type of smell, that fruity floral that just smells like you have your life together. And I'm going to play around with this one. If I had to categorize this one for a season, this does give me spring, but it gives me like spring night or fall type of night, because it just has those rich berries and then those kind of more sexy, seductive florals, I would say. But yeah, overall, this one is nice. Again, she's just not a favorite of mine. She's one that I did have to come around to a little bit, but I do like her. Okay, I know y'all are probably going to be like, why are all the new ones on the bottom? But I don't know, y'all. Once we get to the top, y'all will kind of understand like how some of these ended up where they're at. The next one is Strawberry Flirt, which is inspired by Flirt's Strawberry Letter, which I have finally gotten my hands on, and I can definitely say this is a dupe of that scent. This is just a really sweet, strawberry jam with this kind of musky note in the base. If you guys are familiar with Bath & Body Works Fall and Bloom, it definitely smells very similar to that to me, except this is just a heavier strawberry note. Fall and Bloom had kind of this plum, deep stone fruit kind of vibe, but this is basically a strawberry version of Fall and Bloom to me. A mist that was always heavily compared to Burberry Her Eau de Toilette. I feel like this has that same super fruity, musky kind of scent profile like both Burberry Her and Burberry Her Eau de Toilette. But yeah, this is definitely just heavy, juicy strawberry jam, and I really love this one. But again, there are just some others in this collection that I love more. Strawberry Flirt is coming in at number 14 for me. Now, following up with another newbie, which is All Eyes on Her. Honestly, I feel like this and Strawberry Flirt are kind of tied, but I might like this one just a smidge more because it does smell closer to one of my personal signature scents, which is Burberry Her Elixir. So if you guys did not see my video where I talked about all my signature scent perfumes, definitely check that out. I will link it up top. But in comparison to the original Burberry Her, I feel like Burberry Her Elixir is a little bit more gourmand leaning. It's creamier. It's got some jasmine, some sandalwood, and overall it just smells like a creamy, more woody and sexy version of Burberry Her. Now, I will say this is not a spot on dupe for that one to me. While it does have the same notes, which are blackberry, bold jasmine, and velvety sandalwood, I do feel like it is more similar to Burberry Her Elixir than the other two. However, it's still not 100% spot on to me, but I do get a very ripe, juicy blackberry with this kind of soft, subtle jasmine and a very soft, subtle sandalwood. So as it dries down, it does remind me a lot of Burberry Her Elixir, but I do feel like it is lacking that super creamy, almost lactonic note that is in Burberry Her Elixir. But overall, girl, they're very similar. And if you were to put them side by side, you probably would not be able to tell much of a difference. Now, coming in at number 13, another new one, y'all. I feel like I have all of the newest ones at the bottom, but you know, this could change. This could change as I wear more of these throughout the summer because most of the ones that are my faves are ones that I have already worn and gone through bottles of. But the next one is going to be Your Cheeky. That's coming in at number 13 for me. This one has notes of pink peppercorn, warm almond flour, and vanilla bean. Now, y'all, just a few days ago when I first reviewed these, if you guys caught that live, this was kind of not at the bottom for me, but it wasn't a super standout one for me. But I want to say as of yesterday, it definitely moved up a little bit in the ranks because this is definitely strongly comparable to Carolina Herrera's Good Girl Blush. It definitely has a slightly pink peppery type of opening that reminds me a little bit of how Valentino Donna Born in Roma opens up, but it just gives it this like sparkling citrus kind of feel. And then I get the almond flour and the vanilla bean. So overall, this just smells like a really pretty springtime scent. It just gives me a warm spring-like floral, a floral gourmand, if you will, giving you a nice floral dynamic mixed with the pink pepper, but the dry down with the vanilla, it just makes it really creamy and beautiful to layer with other scents. This is definitely a good one to layer with not only florals, but with other gourmand scents that you want to make feel more bright and uplifting without taking away the sweetness. So definitely recommend Your Cheeky. It has quickly climbed up in the ranks and has become one of my faves. Coming in at number 12, which I really feel like could be higher, but some of the other ones have just knocked her a little bit further down. But next one is going to be Covered in Roses. She was one of the OG releases for the Everyday Luxuries collection and probably the most popular one because she is a dupe for none other than the beloved Delina. Ruby Berries, Sugared Rosebuds, and Blush Amber. And y'all, this one is just so good. If you are a rose lover like me and you love your fragrances that have that very sweet rose, I mean, this one just smells so good. This one to me is a lot smoother and creamier than Delina in my opinion. I feel like sometimes Delina can have a little bit of a sharpness from the lychee that's in there, but overall this one is just a little bit smoother, creamier, almost kind of more powdery and has like that lipstick kind of vibe. And it just smells like sweet, creamy roses. And I really love this one. But if I wasn't so tired of the scent DNA, this would probably be higher. But since I just smell this so often in so many different perfumes nowadays, I am kind of getting a little bit tired of it. But I do feel like this is a staple one for you to have in your collection if you have not tried it already. So coming in at number 12 is Covered in Rose. Now, next up is another one that is a classic fragrance in my personal collection, which is Pink Obsessed, and she is inspired by none other than Valentino Donna's Born in Roma. Blushing Jasmine, Cashmere Praline, and Vanilla Bourbon. I feel like this is one of the ones that is like closest to a spot on dupe in my opinion. This one really does take so many elements of Valentino Donna Born in Roma and like almost perfectly duplicates it. It has that same kind of peppery pink peppercorn opening. Almost instantly starts to dry down to that very sweet praline and vanilla bourbon combo that I just love, y'all. And this one is also very, very long lasting. So a lot of the girlies were obsessed with this one, and I feel like that is a perfect name for this because the scent that it was inspired by is just such a favorite, classic, easy reach, pretty girl fragrance in the fragrance community. So Pink Obsessed, I want to say they discontinued this one, which I don't know why, but if you can still get your hands on this one, maybe try to get it on Mercari or something. I definitely think this is one worth checking out. Y'all, now coming in at number 10, and this is another one that when I first got it, I'm not gonna say I didn't like it, but I already knew the scent that it was inspired by, and I felt like I had kind of gotten tired of the original version of that scent. But as I started to wear this, I was like, no, I actually really enjoyed this. So this one is Midnight Addiction, and she is a dupe for Black Opium by YSL, which for a lot of the fragrance girlies was like a core memory. At least for me, it was a core memory type of scent. Like I wore Black Opium all through college, and it's just something I associate very strongly with my early 20s. This is definitely Black Opium. However, this one has notes of ripe plum, rich almond flour, and addictive coffee bean. This is definitely a very smooth, creamy version of Black Opium. I feel like the coffee in this one is just super sweet, super well blended, and the plum kind of gives this a bold, rich, fruity, like full-bodied feel, but it doesn't come across bitter. It just comes across very rich, and it smells so seductive and so good, y'all. I've been wearing this one with Black Opium Le Parfum, which is basically Black Opium with like tons of vanilla in it and not as bitter of a coffee note. And this definitely, I feel like, is kind of a mixture of the two. So I've been loving to layer this with my Black Opium Le Parfum, and I have quickly grown to love this one. Now coming in at number 8, this unfortunately is another one that was discontinued, but this is Floral Fantasy, and just the color of this bottle, y'all, is just gorgeous. This one has notes of peach osmanthus, jasmine, and warm patchouli. And this one is a dupe for Flower Bomb. I personally feel like this is a mixture of the original Flower Bomb and Flower Bomb Ruby Orchid, which has a very pronounced peach note. This opens up with like a very green, ripe, juicy peach. And then you get the jasmine and the patchouli. So this overall just smells super sexy. And that peach in the opening gives it kind of this green, sweet zestiness, if you will. And that's what I really love about this one. So this was definitely one of my faves this past winter. And I'm kind of sad to be putting it away, but this definitely reminds me, again, if you like Flower Bomb Ruby Orchid, I feel like this is definitely closer to that one than it is the OG Flower Bomb. But either way, this is just a really pretty, sweet, sexy, seductive floral, and I just love this one. Coming in at number 7, this is a fave because I, number 1, have 2 bottles of this, but I feel like this one is ranked super high, not because it's anything unique or like different, but it's because it's something that you can literally layer with everything to mix and make all of your scents more personalized to you. But you must. Now this one again was also discontinued. I don't know why, because I feel like this one was really popular, but this one has notes of iris, pink pepper, and airy musk. This one is inspired by Glossier's You. And oh, this just smells so good, y'all. This is like the perfect balance of that sweet, airy, clean musk that I love, but the iris in here also gives it this kind of cosmetic-y, powdery lipstick type of smell. And I just love those two scents together. So this is one that you could easily wear every day. This is like one of those white t-shirt scents, those second skin, your skin but better type of scents. But I feel like this has that added cosmetic powder note that just makes it smell so good. And I just love this one so much, y'all. So yes, I have 2 bottles of this, and I definitely feel like I like this a little bit more, even better than the Glossier You Perfume, just because of the way that they did this one. So If You Musk, she is my number 7. Number 6, debatable, but I feel like I honestly could have swapped to this one. I have my days where I love this, and then I have my days where I'm just like, I'm kind of over this scent DNA, but this one is Petal Parade. And for today, we're gonna say she is number 6. And this one has notes of neroli petals, orange flowers, and white woods. And she is a dupe or inspired by none other than Prada Paradox. This is another scent DNA that honestly is starting to get a little bit overdone because it also equally reminds me a bit of Valentino Donna Born in Roma. And I feel like I could have swapped this one in Pink Obsessed, honestly. This one is definitely brighter with the neroli opening, and then the orange flower and the white woods. Like overall, I feel like this one is just super feminine, super floral, in your face, citrus. This is like screaming spring to me. It's not as sweet as Pink Obsessed, I would say, but that doesn't mean it's not as good. I just feel like this one is a little bit more elevated and has more of that classic perfume like smell. I just really enjoy this one. This is definitely one that I'm going to be reaching for a lot in the spring, but I will say I think this one should have been in the place that Pink Obsessed was, and Pink Obsessed should have been my number 6. So yeah, top 5, y'all. We are in the top 5, and my number 5 is actually one of the newer ones, which I knew as soon as I smelled it that I was like gonna love it. But this one is Guilty as Fig. And this one is inspired by Fleur's Father Figure, which is a scent that I really, really loved. And I decluttered it from my collection because I felt like I wasn't going to wear it, and then I started missing it. So I don't know why, but I have both that scent in my collection again and this one in my collection. And I absolutely love this, you guys. This one has notes of fig nectar, lush jasmine, and creamy musk. Again, I love anything that has a prominent musk note, honestly, but the addition of the fig and the jasmine in here, y'all, this is one of those scents that you smell and it just smells so unique and different, and it just smells uplifting and bright. That fig note in here is done to perfection, mixed with the jasmine. It's the perfect amount of jasmine to make this smell very feminine and floral and kind of whimsical, and then mixed with that musk. This just smells so good, y'all. This is going to be one of my spring go-tos. I can already tell. And yeah, if you guys have smelled Fleur's Father Figure, I would definitely say this is the more feminine little sister. It's inspired by that fragrance and has the overall same scent profile, but I do feel like this one's way more feminine, way more easy to wear. I do feel like Fleur's Father Figure had a more prominent, stronger, musky type of woody dry down. Made it lean a little more masculine, so I had to be in the mood for that. And I think that's probably why I decluttered it the first time, but I'm happy to have both in my collection, and I absolutely love Guilty as Fig. Okay, girls, number four, if you are new to my channel, or if you're not new, I should say, this should be no surprise to you because this is another one that I have double of, but this one is Viva Vanilla. And this one has been compared to a few different vanilla scents on the market. I personally feel like not a 100% dupe of anything, which a lot of these in this bag, y'all, I will say is not a 100% dupe. There's just a few in here that I feel like are spot on, but this one has been compared to Kayali's Vanilla 28. It's been compared to Billie Eilish. It's been compared to Vanilla Vice by Sniff. It's been compared to just so many vanillas. But what I will say, y'all, is this is just overall a super sexy, slightly spicy vanilla. And I love those in my collection. To me, this gives me very similar vibes to Vanilla Romance, which is another Bath & Body Works scent. Also gives me very similar vibes to Donna Karan's Palo Santo and Cashmere, as well as Sniff's Vanilla Vice. I can kind of see how this gives a little bit of Kayali and Billie Eilish because those are also both those kind of spicy, you know, slightly peppery leaning type of vanillas. But overall, this is just kind of a conglomerate of like a few different things, and that's what I really like about it. So this one has notes of rich plum, glowing amber, and addictive vanilla. And again, it's just something so sexy. That plum in here is really just giving it kind of this roundness, this boldness. And then the vanilla and the dry down, it's just making it smooth and sexy and seductive. And this is one I reach for a lot that I can layer with other things. Like I said, I have 2 bottles of this, so I'm very happy. I don't know if this one was discontinued. I feel like they kept this one and extended the line and did like body butters and stuff, or body creams at least. So hopefully, if they have not already released the body butter, they will, because I really love this. But for now, I just layer this with my Vanilla Romance body butter, and I just absolutely love this one. Hey, y'all, number three, another one that will not come as a surprise to you if you have been following me. But the next one is none other than Oh Cherry. I have done so many layering combos with this scent, y'all, so I will try to link one of the corresponding layering videos with this particular scent. But Oh Cherry is just one of my faves. I'm not even a huge cherry lover, but for this to be my number 3 in my top 3, it just shows you how addictively good this scent is. So this one is, of course, inspired by none other than Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, but this one has notes of black cherry, sheared magnolia, and tonka bean. Y'all, the balance between the cherry and the magnolia in the opening, it's almost like a sour cherry, but not really. They just have it so perfectly balanced where the cherry is very rich and juicy and sweet, but it also has a hint of this slightly sour floral note. And then once it dries down, you get that super sexy tonka bean that just gives it this slightly elevated feel. And I just love this one, y'all. This just smells so good. This is one that I get tons of compliments on and that I absolutely love to layer with because it just adds the perfect rich fruity factor to so many scents, like almond scents, vanilla scents, even other floral scents, y'all. It just goes so well with so many things, and I'm absolutely addicted to this one. Number 2, y'all. Number 2 and number 1 were so hard to choose between, but obviously if you've made it this far, you probably already know what those 2 are. But I'm gonna give number 2 to Pistachio Glaze. Now, As soon as I smelled this, y'all, I already knew I needed to have 2 of them, and I've already gotten a backup. So this one is so freaking good, y'all. This one has notes of pistachio cream, toasted vanilla, and sugared patchouli. This is one of the newest releases in the Everyday Luxuries line. I have become completely enamored with this scent. This is the creamiest, sweetest pistachio. It's almost like a pistachio milk or a true pistachio dessert, a true pistachio ice cream. Like, when I first saw this, I thought this was just going to be another Kayali Yum Pistachio dupe, but it's definitely not. It does not have that same fresh type of slightly floral clean vibe that Kayali's Yum Pistachio has. This is definitely more of a true sweet gourmand pistachio, almost like a pistachio glaze or a pistachio syrup. Like, that is what this smells like. Like, if they were to make, if they haven't already, a coffee creamer syrup, or a coffee syrup, I should say, like at Starbucks or something, if they were to make a pistachio syrup, it would smell like this. Like, that is what it's giving me. If you guys have ever smelled the Pistache body cream, it smells similar to that. Or even the Bath & Body Works pistachio candle. I can't remember, pistachio and almond or something like that. It was one of those candles that I used to go crazy over when it first released. This smells just like that, y'all. So pistachio glaze is honestly a perfect name for this, because it definitely has just what a glaze would smell like the glaze on top of like a Krispy Kreme donut mixed with sweet pistachios. That is what this smells like, and I just absolutely love this one. Okay, y'all, now that brings us to my number one in my Everyday Luxuries collection, which, if y'all know me, y'all probably already know what this is, but it is none other than Loyal to You, which is inspired by one of my other signature scent fragrances, which is Dolce & Gabbana's Devotion. But I wish that this, I honestly might have to get the perfume of this, because I did feel like at first getting the perfume version of this would be a little redundant, but there's something in here that I may like a little bit more than Dolce & Gabbana's Devotion. But this one has notes of sweet lemon blossom, orange flower, and vanilla marshmallow. Now, while this smells very close and similar to Dolce & Gabbana's Devotion, that very sweet lemon candy mixed with vanilla, this is definitely not near as heavy on the citrus opening, and it also doesn't have that same rich boozy factor that Devotion has in the dry down. This to me is basically just lemon cream or like lemon meringue mixed with marshmallows and that slightly sweet orange flower note. This just smells so good, y'all. Like, this smells light and fluffy and airy, but there's also something in here that is just so rich and just By the way, y'all, I actually have these two layered together today. When I tell y'all, I literally smell like a snack. So if you guys have both of these, or even if you have the lotion for one and the mist for the other, layer them together. You are going to smell like a lemon meringue pie with pistachio glaze on top. Like, that's literally what it smells like. So y'all will probably hear me mention this combo again in a future layering video that I will hopefully have up here soon. But needless to say, Loyal to You is my number one, followed by pistachio glaze as a very close second. And overall, if you guys could not tell, I am a super sweet gourmand loving girly. I love my gourmands. Those are like my go-to scents. And I feel like these are going to be perfect for the springtime. They're not super heavy. They're not super like in your face. They're going to be easy to layer with your other perfumes. And I just love both of these. All right, you guys, that is it for me rating my entire Everyday Luxuries collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys stayed to the end, please drop a yellow or a green heart, okay, in the comments below. And also let me know, out of all of your Everyday Luxury scents that you have tried, which one is your favorite? Which one would you say is your number one? I'm very curious to see how my list compares to yours. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.